Welcome to Bwtm Sports Gaming. Yes, Bwtm Sports Gaming. Hope that you're well. Happy New Year to those of you who haven't seen me. Let's get into this. Eubank versus Benn, or Eubank Junior versus Benn, has been signed. It's official. It's a done deal. The first fight's going to be in April, and it's a two-fight deal. So no matter who wins, who loses, they fight again. Even if one gets absolutely poleaxed in the first round, doesn't matter because they're going to fight again for a second fight. Right. This is my reaction to what I'm hearing, what I'm seeing. So I'm going to throw three things up to you. And then you tell me what you think afterwards. So, first thing, 1999. To watch one guy who's not fought for English title, who's not fought a British title, not fought for a Commonwealth title, not fought for a European title, and downward doesn't need to be fighting for any world title, and is unproven at middleweight. We saw him fight at light middleweight, and he was unimpressive at light middleweight. Okay. The other is a guy, as far as I'm concerned, who has won a world title. Because the IBO, as far as I'm concerned, is a world title. You cannot call the IBO, you cannot call undisputed and we use the IBO as a world title. And then when you want to not call it as a world title, it's a world title as far as I'm concerned. How highly you rank it is your business. But I consider it a world title. It might not be WBC, WBA, IBF, but it might not be those belts, but IBO, as far as I'm concerned, is the championship of the world. It might be a minor version of their heavyweight championship of the world. Remember, David Hay won the WBA championship of the world, and when he won that belt was the belt that I think Ali had as well. But people kind of discredited it, and when it was a regular belt, they discredited that belt for a super belt that nobody had fought for, and it became a super belt, the WBA super belt. But anyway, I slightly got off tangent. So I can, in my opinion, I call it an IBO, a championship of the world. That's what I think Eubank's done. He won the championship of the world. It might not be highly regarded, but I still regard it as a world championship. And when they call undisputed, I'm looking for the IBO belt. Anyway, as much as the other belts as well. Okay, so with that being said, at least he has fought for a version of the world championship. I know media like to always quick to discredit people. That's the way the media are. Don't have a lot of time for the media. They're two-faced. They'll tell you, yeah, go on, do that. And when it goes wrong, they'll say, why did you do that in the first place? To put the media to one side. Most of the media are being paid by promoters. I know this firsthand. They're getting paid by promoters to say and do what they got to do. So that's it. Put them to one side. Now, the fight itself. Sorry. But Eubank Jr., listen, I am a massive Eubank Jr. fan. Absolutely massive. I can sit down and watch Eubank Jr. talk for hours. I like the dude. Maybe because I saw him as a young boy when I was living in Brighton. Living in Hove, I was able to meet the Eubank family. At times, even walking down the street, I used to meet Chris himself when he was still fighting. You see him with his red Ferrari and stuff. So, and his brother had a very good relationship. Simon Eubank had a very, very good relationship with Simon. Went to his house numerous times and spoke to him. We took boxing and life, and anyway, yeah, I was closer to Simon than I was obviously Chris, because Chris was the standout. But yeah, anyway, moving on swiftly. This fight. Benn is an unknown quantity, right? Now, Eubank, I don't know how the negotiations have gone, but once again, we've got this dehydration and rehydration clause. Now, anyway, I'll fight him anyway. I'll fight him at any weight. There was another dude that said that, if you remember, let's track back in time, it was Canelo. Canelo said, on camera, he said, I would lose X amount of weight, I'll fight you Floyd Mayweather anyway. If it's this weight, or this weight. Do you know what Floyd did? Floyd held Canelo to that weight. Can't remember what the weight was. Floyd held Canelo. He held him to his word. He held him to his word. And then people can play that after. He held Canelo to his word. What Eubank should have done is held Benn to his word. Eubank is an absolute idiot for that. I love Eubank, but he's an absolute idiot. They say, oh, well, negotiation, the hydration, rehydration clause. Benn said you fight you anyway. You are agreeing to a rehydration clause. So Benn can come up, he can come up to any weight he wants to, but you now, who is the middleweight, the actual middleweight, is subjected to some rehydration clause. Haven't we been here before? Haven't we been here before? I just think, in my opinion, that's dangerous. We know that Eubank, under middleweight, he doesn't perform very well. Just look at how he looked against Liam Smith the first fight and how he looked against Liam Smith the second fight. I'm sorry. At 35 years old, and you are, it's not like you've got only a certain amount of weight you can put back on. You're 35 years old. It's already been sold a dud fight. A dud fight. So Eubank will be dead at the weight. And Benn will be fresh at the weight. So if Eubank's going to win this fight, he's going to need the strength to do it. And what's going to happen is Benn's going to have all those advantages coming up in weight. I don't know how good a fighter Benn actually is, because we don't know, because we just don't know. Is he world class? I don't think he is. I don't think he is. But he will come in charged up. He'll come in charged up and ready to go. And Eubank will come in with half a tank. So you're not getting the fight that you are being sold. You're not getting the fight you're being sold. You're not getting a guy that's 100%, who's going to be 100% fit, ready to go. You're going to have one guy who's like 110%. It's like one of those video games. You play a video game and the one guy is at 50%, you're at 50%, and the guy's at 120%. One guy's going to have to fight. He's got to just worry about making weight and fighting. You just got to just fight. The other dude now has to think about making weight, not only making weight, but making sure you rehydrate to a certain amount. Didn't have that in the fight, this last fight, Eubank. And that's things that people don't consider when, so you're buying a fight in 1999 with one guy who's not really going to be prepared the way he should be, and another dude that we don't know anything about. I hope Eubank's getting paid a lot of money for this fight. And like I said, Benn's punching power at light middleweight didn't look that impressive. So if he can just run up to middleweight and then punch and knock Eubank out, that'll be something. But when you have those fights, those fights, a guy like that, well, first thing with dehydration is that you go to the body and you set such a pace that the guy who is on the receiving end, the guy who's dehydrated, the guy that hasn't got all his nutrients in his body, and he will be depleted, and he's 35 years old. So literally, Eubank can look old overnight, literally, by draining him, because you're draining the guy. So the appearance is Benn looks brilliant at middleweight against a weight-drying fighter. And that's what Eubank will be. I don't care about any rehydration clause. The fact you're dehydrating the guy in the first place is a problem. I would like to see boxing that stopped. If the guys cannot fight at the weight they should be fighting at, fight should not be happening, straight up, for the health of the fighters. When you start dehydrating fighters, you start taking water off the brain. And that's the water that's absorbing those shots. When the brain's rattling and the fluids on the brain, right? When you've got the fluid, a lot of fluid, it absorbs the shots. But when you are dehydrated, there's less water on the brain. So that's how the brain starts rattling around more. And you're more likely to get brain injuries and stuff like that. I'm just calling it for what it is. I'm calling it for what it is. You might like to hear this crap, but it is what it is. So I'm, once again, concerned about Eubank's health. His father is going to have nothing to do with the fight. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I hope Eubank knocks Conor out. Where do you rank AJ as an overall UK talent? He's good. a good fighter. Don't know. He did a lot for British boxing. That's what I can say. He did a lot. He did a lot for British boxing. So, are you rating him as a fighter, as a boxer? I think his best, AJ's best run was when he was under Rob McCracken. After that, that's what I've got to say about that. So, just so yeah, that's where I see it as. That's how I view it. It's a fight that you're paying £20. Sorry, £40 because there'll be a rematch. So you've already damaged the guy in the first fight. Unless Eubank gets Benn out there quickly, I don't see this being a fight. I don't see this being a fight that will be what it should be. Eubank's in a fight of his life, quite literally, against Conor Benn. He really is. I just don't like the way the fight's set up. I don't like it again. So those are my thoughts. And if you want to talk about dehydration, a good example of dehydration and a guy that lose weight was De La Hoya. De La Hoya fought at middleweight against Bernard Hopkins. And then the next fight, I believe, he went and fought Pacquiao. And he came down, it was 147 the fight was. He came in at 142 or 143. And then when Oscar got in the ring tonight, you saw what happened, Oscar. He couldn't let his punches go in the way he normally would because he was weakened. And then Pacquiao took advantage of a weight drained Oscar De La Hoya. The most ridiculous thing he had to do. So, what's the contract weight? 160 and £10 rehydrating clause. Yes, but okay, it's not that. The question I'm asking is, when Eubank normally fights, this is not for any title, by the way. It's not for a world title. It's not for elimination for a world title. It's not. It's just a fight between two guys. Who've got names of their fathers, bloodlines. That's what it is. So why do we need to have rehydration and this? Ben said he would fight him at any weight. He said he'd smash him at any weight. So if you say smash him at any weight, then fight the fight. So don't like it. Don't like it. Let Eubank come in at his weight and you come in at your weight and fight. That's it. Because they're weight categories for a reason. When you start going into another man's weight category and said, yeah, but we can fight, but you're going to have to come. No. You, Ben, said you would come in and fight him at any weight. Now, when we come down to the table, you're now talking about rehydration clause and all this stuff. Sorry. So I want both guys to be able to fight their best. Ben, you come in whatever weight you're going to come in at. Eubank, you come in and fight what you're going to fight at. And fight. That's it. So that's my thoughts on it. The fight itself, I don't know what state Eubank's going to be in. Who's your favourite heavyweight of all time? Favourite heavyweight of all time? I'm not sure if these questions are related to what we're talking about. So, this is a middleweight fight between Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr. So, as I was saying, I think that as far as I'm concerned, fight is smoke and mirrors. Eubank beats a guy. If Eubank beats him, he beats a guy that's come up 2 weight divisions. Yeah. And, well, who's he fought and who's he beat? And there's British Commonwealth. You see, this fight protects Benn's career. If Benn loses, they can always turn around afterwards and say, well, he went up 2 weight divisions to fight for his father's legacy, all that, some stuff like that. That's what they'll say if Benn loses. As far as I'm concerned, the two fights are to secure Conor Benn because they've invested a lot of money in Conor, I believe, and they weren't expecting the whole scandal to come out. So they have to get invested to get money back on Benn. They have to make money back. So they've got. That's why Benn's going out barking here, there. I want this fight. I'll fight this man. I'll do this. I'll do that. Blah 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 blah. Like he's making all that noise because he needs to get them. They need to get the money back, and he needs to be seen, as far as I'm concerned, he needs to be seen as a dude who wants his fights to happen. That's the way I'm seeing it. Because when it comes down to it, when you do get the fight now, I've got to fight at Barrios. Why aren't you going to fight Barrios, mate? Why aren't you going to fight Barrios and become a world champion? Because if you get smashed by Barrios, there's no, as far as I'm concerned, where are you going from that point? But if you go up 2 weight divisions and you fight Eubank, and even if you lose to Eubank, you still kind of win, because I went up 2 weight divisions to fight Eubank. I went up 2 divisions to fight him. You know, I gave my best. 2 weight divisions. I went 2 weight divisions. So there's that sort of thing of, well, I went up 2 weight divisions. Well, no, you kind of went up a weight division and a half, and then you try to break the guy down on weight and then bring him back up and then tell him to rehydrate afterwards. So you drag the guy down to weight, and here's how I've seen this happen in the past, right? You say to the guy, right, yeah, you can rehydrate up to 10 pounds, but when do you rehydrate? You rehydrate maybe 12 hours. So they might say, right, you got them weighing at 157. You weigh in at 157. You weigh at 157 at, I don't know, 10 o'clock, 10 p.m. Friday night. And then you have to rehydrate Saturday. So you'll drink maybe lots of water, lots of shakes, whatever, and you rehydrate. If you go over the weight limit, you'll get fined. You rehydrate. But what is that? Is that enough time to get the nutrients back in your body for you to perform at optimum weight fight night? As opposed to what you know how you normally fight. You do your weigh in, you check your weigh in, and then afterwards you weigh in, and once your weigh in's done, you fight. You can rehydrate like Canelo does and blow up till God knows, fight almost at cruiserweight weight. That's where they catch you. And I wouldn't be surprised if they try to catch Eubank that way. So, okay, yeah, you can come in. You can come in at 168. Yeah, you can come at 168. But when can you make 168? 157, and then you got to try and make 168. Whereas if you fight in a normal fight, not this Benn fight, you'd weigh in for 160. And then you put the weight on afterwards because your body's accustomed to that. Just my thoughts. So Benn still has to fight at the weight. He's not proven at middleweight. He's not a proven fight at middleweight. He's not even a proven fight at welterweight. You know, so there's a lot of questions to be answered about Benn. And there's even more questions to ask about Eubank. But anyway, that's my thoughts. I don't like the fight because it's not the best. It's not the best of one another fighting. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section about Benn versus Eubank. The price, the 2 fights, the weight rehydration clause, and the thoughts on Benn saying he'd fight Eubank anyway, and now there's a rehydration clause in place. Right, those are my thoughts. Not too long, nice and short, under 20 minutes. I'm out. Thanks for watching.